Hi, and welcome.
I'm Z,
And I'm Keith.
and we're going to tell you about the movie that we just watched. But first, a little bit of a heads up.
Some of the movies we watch deal with heavy subject matters.
In order to talk about these emotionally delicate things and the heavy subject matters that we sometimes cover, we add humor and crude language to add some levity and to process our own trauma.
If that doesn't feel fun or safe for you, we completely understand. Please take care of yourself first and foremost.
And we spoil the end of pretty much every movie that we watch.
Now you know. On with the show. The motherfucking keep.
Yeah, well, what the fuck? I'm glad I didn't know anything about this movie going in except for all the people that were in it. What the fuck?
Did you read this? Is both Jürgen Prochnow and Ian McKellen's first Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this either. Jürgen Prochnow was in Das Boot.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but
Me neither.
boy, let me tell you, comedians in the 80s love to reference it.
It's a little before my time, if I'm honest. Yeah. This was a movie.
Oh, man. Apparently no one involved
liked it.
in it
Yeah.
cares to...
Everyone hated it. It killed the one bitch that was in it. She's dead now.
Yeah.
She died before it got a DVD release. She probably heard it was getting one, and she was like, I'm out. Bye.
I wish you could hear the face of Mickey right now.
Hi, I'm Z, and I'm respectful.
Say her name.
Go. I can't. I don't remember what it is.
Me either.
Hold on. I'm gonna read a piece of trivia that I really like.
I would love a piece of trivia right now.
I know you would, because I know how you are. Okay. Okay, good. Thought I closed the tab.
Also, for those who listen to the lobby, again, I got multiple things wrong in that I said I thought this was directed by William Friedkin, who directed Wizard. Okay. The Keep is directed by Michael Mann.
Uh-huh.
The movie I called Wizard is actually called Sorcerer. And it does not star Rob Schneider.
Yeah. Okay, this piece of trivia is pretty good. The writer of the original novel, F. Paul Wilson, was so unimpressed by Michael Mann's adaptation of his work that he wrote a short story called Cuts, in which a writer puts a voodoo curse on a director who has mangled his work.
I love how many stories there are like this.
It's so funny. That's so funny to care that much.
And to be that petty.
Well, to be that petty, but
commit to be that petty.
Yeah, to
like writing
give that much of a shit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, oh my God, you made a film that was not the perfect adaptation of a thing I wrote. I'd be like, oh man, it didn't make any money.
Yeah,
That's where I'd be. I don't care how good it is. Did you like it?
No
Okay,
offense,
cool.
I'm sure it's a fine novel, but it's about a creature in Transylvania during
Nazi
Nazis.
During Nazi time.
So I don't know, man.
I just wanna confess to something. I'm gonna do an info, and that's not what I'm confessing. I've recently started an OnlyFans again because I'm tired of not having one, and I have an Instagram for that. And a lot of people who do things that are funny.
I think I know where this is going.
Not funny, but do things that are adult type of things, for whatever reason, they put their handle on sometimes on social media, not so and so. And it's a funny thing that they do. And I'm like, huh. And it's a thing that I've seen not
The
solely
word "not" followed by their
actual name. Or their their pen
Nom
name.
de guerre.
Their dildo name or whatever.
Nom de fuck.
Nom de scroom. I don't know. I was trying to
I was good in punch up on my joke.
So I said I'm gonna do that for my Instagram because I'm using my Z Macabre name because that's not my real name, so I might as well use it. And so I put not.
Then who did I marry? Who am I legally bound to?
I made my little Instagram for Z Macabre. I put not Z Macabre. And it wasn't until I was brushing my teeth, like a full day later, that I was like, not Z Macabre. Oh my God. And I was like, this is not the time for that to, I was like, oh my God. Who?
At one time, that would have been funny.
No, at one time that could have been, oh, I didn't even think about that. And you could, you know what I mean? Oh, that didn't even occur to me. Now is not that time.
Well, definitely post Hassan Minaj at the Washington correspondence thing that when he said he did not see Steve Bannon.
Not see Steve Bannon. And it was very funny. And I thought, I literally was brushing my teeth and I was like, haha, Nazi macabre.
Audible record scratch.
And I was like, oh no. And it wasn't until, and then I did the thing because I have that thing in my brain that makes this happen. I left the room
but immediately
that I was
forgot.
in and went into the room that had my cell phone in it so I could change it, and had no memory because I left a room with that thought. And it's I can't remember what it's called. It's called like the door. There's some term for it where like going from one room
doorway.
to the next. No, there's like an actual term that's okay. Where it's like going from one room to the next, your state changes, so you forget things. Anyway, so I just wanted to apologize if anyone saw that and was like, I don't get it. I didn't either. And I thought I was being clever and
in a different way.
Yeah, I thought I was being clever. I was just sounding like a horrible monster. Indigenous peoples Native American History Month. Yeah. And I'm like, I'll put not Z.
It's all not Z 13 words, 14, 16, whatever the.
Yeah.
John
Wait, is it
16?
13 words?
The 13 words, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think.
And then it's
I don't remember the other one, though, 14, 16.
Yeah.
Or what it
13,
meant
14.
to reference.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I just want to say that since we're going to talk shit about Nazis, I wanted to make my stance clear in case you got confused over the week.
But do you condemn Hamas?
Fuck off.
Stay tuned to the end to find if Z will.
Oh my God. So this movie was insane. I will say
I want to say like something because you were going to talk.
Yeah. No, I got that. Go ahead.
I can't remember which movie it was, but
I thought you were going to say I can't remember what I was going to say.
once I say it, hopefully you'll recall. Because afterwards, learning how much of this film was cut it's really impressive
Yeah.
that there's any narrative cohesion.
Yeah.
There is, but it's
arguable.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I think one thing is that because of the bevy of accents that are being attempted,
Yeah.
or not,
Yeah.
and I feel like some of the mixing is. It's hard to hear the dialogue sometimes, or it was for me.
Same.
So if you miss like one, you can miss an important plot point if you miss one line of dialogue, and then it's not coming back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They don't. Yeah.
To all of the editors, whoever they were involved in, I think it does. I'm not saying it's like airtight. It's obviously a work of fantasy or horror or whatever.
Yeah.
So, it's not rational, but
Correct.
like,
yeah.
I was able to follow along enough for it to make enough sense. Given how, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, there is that.
But do you remember what movie where I was like,
because you didn't say anything. You said, hopefully you'll remember after I say this.
Well, yeah, I feel like there was another movie. Oh, it was Event Horizon. That's what I'm thinking about. Like, it's so tight.
Yeah, for sure.
And yet Event Horizon does feel like a movie that's been cut down a lot.
It does, yeah.
And
but it doesn't feel like
was.
it misses. You don't feel like, you're like, how do we get here?
Right, exactly. Right.
Yeah. I feel like that was a little bit in this movie because there's the scene where she says she's having a fucking freak out and she's like, why did you come here?
Yeah.
Why are you here then? Why did you become my lover?
Yeah.
And then he says, touch. And that's it? And I'm like, touch?
No, I think he said something. He said more than that. Like,
did he? Because that's all I heard.
I heard like human touch, which is the only, I don't know.
I did. There was like, I don't know. You'll have to put the insert clip here.
Why? Why did you come to me? Become my lover? Out of a dream.
To touch. That's only mortal men can do.
But like,
You be the judge. Yeah, no, apparently a lot of what got cut was his character development.
amazing. Awesome.
Isn't it?
I don't know. Oh, I thought you were saying, isn't that right? And I was like, girl, I don't know. I stopped reading the trivia after I realized they weren't shit talking Michael Mann enough.
I learned that from a video. I did watch a video about it.
It's
Link in the description.
It is nonsensical. My favorite part, I think, is when
I think it follows its own logic.
that's generous. I don't dislike them. I don't dislike it at all. I just think it's insane and doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's totally bonkers.
Yeah, but that's not a complaint. Where Scott Glenn, right? That's who it is, Scott Glenn, who I think is like very hot in a I'm made of bones and skin kind of way.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's his voice. I'm such a sucker for the voice. Like, like people that I wouldn't necessarily find attractive. If you have enough of a voice that
Or
like
some fucked up teeth.
well, let's not say fucked up teeth. There's a specific thing.
Okay.
If there's like, if you have like, you know, yeah, I mean, I guess like, I'm not like, oh, you have dentures or something. Like, you know, they gotta have teeth. They just are a lot. Like if you have a lot of teeth in your mouth and they don't have enough room for each other. And so they're fighting with each other. That's really hot for whatever reason. If you've got that thing where your teeth go forward. And so it looks like you got some, like, you're going to cut someone. If you kiss them wrong, that's hot. Like, I don't know what it is. Okay. I don't fucking know what it is, but I like it.
You sucked on a binky for too long.
No,
Growing
not
up?
so much. No. I mean, well, unless you're the girl from Criminal Intent that is the Moriarty or whatever.
Oh.
What's her fuck? Nicole something.
That's a character name, right?
Yeah, I don't remember. She was in Growing Pains. Is that what it is? No,
I don't think so.
no,
Anyway,
not Growing Pains. It
I'll
was
look her
the
up.
one.
You
What was the
continue.
one with Life Goes On? No, it wasn't Life Goes On.
That's the one with Corky.
Yeah, that's the one with Corky. What was the one with
Oh, Wonder Years.
Wonder Years? That's what she was in. She was the older sister in Wonder Years.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
Fuck. And if you're wondering what I did,
He
I
just
waved.
waved
I
frantically.
waved frantically because that was that's all I think of.
That's the shortcut for
That's how I say Wonder Years is I just wave. If anybody's talking about Wonder Years, I do the wave. That's probably why my shoulder. That's probably how I fucked up my shoulder. Anyway, my favorite part was when Scott Glenn's character gets shot.
Olivia Dabo.
Olivia Dabo.
Dabo.
Dabo. Scott Glenn's character gets shot a bunch.
Yeah.
Oozes green. Gets a Cardassian neck. And his shirt turns black. Great. No explanation for any of it.
Did you say that during the film?
Did I?
The Cardassian part.
I can't remember. It's all I could think of.
Because that's
so
definitely in my head.
Yeah, I mean,
and-
but that's what it looked like. So I can't remember if I said Cardassian or not. Because it was all, I was like.
If you didn't, it's wild because I had it.
Well,
similar, I remember.
I can't remember. I feel like I was like, save it for the pod. Save it for the pod. Yeah. But I was also like, it looked like a Cardassian.
The monster has that too.
Yeah, but he looks more like a Santaran. If they were tall.
Fuck out of here. Yes, master.
That's not a Santaran.
Bitch, I know. I'm not going to do a Santaran. I don't have a Santaran. It's my only Doctor Who related impersonation.
Okay.
Would you like a jelly baby?
You got it right.
For once. Would you like a beanie baby?
You always say, would you like a jelly belly? And then you're
Jelly
like,
belly,
wait a
that's
minute.
what it is, yes.
Would you like a jelly belly? And then you're like, God damn
But
it.
again, that's my impersonation of someone else's impersonation. I don't remember whose.
It's true. Fucking, yeah. So, this movie, my favorite part though, I will say.
You're running out of voice.
I've not much
there's-
more to give. My favorite part about this, and I'm being serial,
Right.
is that even though they sort of do the like, well, I'm one of the nice Nazis.
Yeah. They spent a lot of time. Yeah. A lot of time on that.
None of them get out. He kills
Yeah.
them all, and I was
It's
like,
true.
okay. Because I was real worried. I was like, oh, fuck. Are we going to do the like, well, you're one of the nice Nazis. You're not one of the Nazis that tried to rape me.
Right. Literally.
So, and that, I'm sorry. Like, I know that, like, we were supposed to not be on the creature's side, but that creature said, rape is bad, and I'll kill you, and I'm not going to fuck with anybody getting raped. Like, they're chill. He was like,
well, no, that's
sage
kind of why I
her.
liked it because
And then he was like, hey, I'm just putting your kid down here.
right, this
You
yours?
know these guys are fucked up, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm not with them. Fuck them. And he's like, okay, fine. You're not sick anymore then, you bitch. And I'm like, wait, what?
No, I know. And I like that because, first of all, I like that it means the monster is just knows how to manipulate people. Even though he seems like
Yeah.
not human, right?
Yeah.
And ancient or whatever, so he may not know how to.
Yeah.
But I also like it, like what it does. It misdirects you, the audience,
Yeah.
into thinking because you're with Kuzo, whatever McKellen's name is.
Couscous. Yeah.
Couscous.
Cusco. No, that's what it is. Cusco from the Emperor's New Groove, I think.
The capital of Lima.
Cusco?
Lima is the capital of Peru. Anywhoozle. Yeah, that's the other thing. Finding out the character names.
You do that by going to IMDb.
Right. That's the only way to find out.
I said something like this earlier. I can't remember. I said like the what's Scott Glenn's his character's name is like
Glaken,
yeah
turns out. And his nickname, but
Gen
in the
Con
book,
or whatever. His name's Gen Con, and then the monster's just like Mr. Bad Guy. It's just like he's like Monster Donster. What is it?
what the fuck are you doing? I have no idea.
The monster's name is something weird, like like
It's not like Monster. It's like
it's like
Malrosa or something.
Muesli Doosli.
Oh my god, this guy. Fellas,
Scott Glenn's Gleekin. No,
that's what I said.
he's
That's what
Gleekin
that's
all
it.
over the. He was Gleekin the whole.
In the book, the character's nickname is Glenn.
That's
In
That's
the
kind
trivia. Let me tell you.
Kuza.
That's what I said.
I didn't know who you were talking about. I thought you were talking about the monster, and I was like, Jurgen Prochnow is Warman.
Buerman. Because it's German.
Oh, okay. Radu Molesser.
Yeah. Monster Donster.
Sorry, Rad Monster. It looks like Rad Molester. I don't like it any more than my.
Also, it doesn't fucking matter because no one says it.
It's true. Not once. Oh, I want to read a goof. I just like that they're like, no one can read this. You know what we should do? We should bring in a guy.
Yeah.
We should bring in a guy that's in the camps.
What can you tell us about the keep? We don't know already.
Me? Nothing?
Yes? What? You're about to say more. You can tell us nothing. Who can?
No one.
Don't lie to me, or I'll shoot this man dead.
There's a professor of medieval history at the university in the city of Iyashi. He's made a study of this keep. Perhaps he can translate that for you.
His name?
Dr. Theodor Kuzar. He grew up in this village. Herr officer. Dr. Kuzar is not in Iyashi.
Then where?
Dr. Kuzar is a Jew. He's wherever you've taken the Jews.
Good.
I mean, like, I don't want any of the Nazi or any of the Jews to be in the fucking camps, but I'm like, are they really gonna bring them out to look at some writing?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. That is maybe the
Yeah, at least believe.
most fantastical element of the movie.
I'm like, do they think they? Okay, that seems okay. Well, whatever.
So apparently in the book, for what it's worth.
Oh, I want to read this.
Okay.
Oof. Sorry. When Dr. Kuza is translating the writing on the wall, he says, the form is the imperative, i.e., that it's a command. That's taken from the source novel where the writing is translated as, strangers, leave my home. But in the film, the translation is, I will be free, which is not an imperative statement.
That's good. I didn't.
Right? I think that's pretty, yeah. It's a goof.
What? And so unnecessary. Why would you do
I
that?
know, like, I guess probably because it means something different. Like he's saying leave instead of I want out, you know? But yeah, why would you just leave that part in there?
Or, yeah.
This imperative.
Daniel Jackson would not have made that mistake.
Oh my God, I wouldn't have caught that. Daniel Johnson. I was like, no, you had it right. Nope, you didn't.
Daniel Johnson is that outsider singer-songwriter. He was dead now.
Outsider.
Yeah, you know that term.
Outsider singer star. I know the term.
You know, like an outsider artist,
Yeah.
not trained.
Oh, okay.
Daniel
But
Johnson? Okay, whatever.
okay, I'm sorry. I got confused. I thought you were naming a group, and then you said, you know that term. And I was like, wait, it's not a group? And so, anyway. You go ahead.
Well, yeah. I mean, maybe we'll try to give a plot synopsis
Oh, okay.
if you want. But first, I wanted to Oh, I was going to talk about a difference in the novel, but apparently McKellen has been quoted as saying that it was an awful experience for him.
Oh, poor guy. That sounded so sarcastic, but I love Ian McKellen, and I would stab a bitch for that man. So,
well, he said that once he agreed to do it, he had read the script or whatever and knew it was set in Romania, and that his character was from the local. So he went to Romania, learned an accent. First day on set, he's like, no, I want you to do a Chicago accent. And I didn't have that. I couldn't do that. So.
Oh my God.
That's why, which was validating, because I'm like, why does he sound American? Or like he's trying to do an American accent.
Why would he be in Chicago?
That was Michael Mann. That was all Michael Mann.
Michael Mann. Is he dead?
I don't think so.
Okay. Michael Mann.
Get at us.
What the fuck?
You have some explaining to do.
I want to know what Michael Mann thinks kissing is. I want to know that.
And I want him to show.
I don't want that. I want him to tell me what he thinks kissing is. Because if you've ever seen The Last of the Mohicans, you know that
still kicking.
There's a kiss in there where literally two people are rubbing their mouths against each other's faces, but not kissing.
There's a scene of physical intimacy in this movie.
Exactly. That is.
I love it. I love it when they go for impressionistic words.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, but I'm like, okay, does he know what it is? Like, because now I'm just worried for him.
Yeah,
I'm
more worried for his partners.
That's what I mean. For him's partners.
Type ZNK Pod for 20% discount at Him's
20% DEFCON.
Okay, anyway, so it's a made-up place in the Carpathian Mountains in Romania in 1941.
The Nazi Wazzy Swazzies come in.
Yeah, I guess Romania was not occupied by the Nazis, at least not at this point. I don't recall my World War II European history enough to.
Jesus.
I know that Romania was a satellite of the USSR eventually. Okay. But anywho, at this point, it's just a tiny little village, and by tiny I mean looks like there's 10 people that live in this village, and their whole economy, if you will, is
sorry, I got a kickle in my nose.
Is based around the three guys that.
Hey, you three guys up there.
Who side by each take care of the keep. The keep, which is this huge structure that
is kind of cool.
Oh, I love it. I love how this movie looks at every point.
No, I just mean like.
And apparently you can rent it off of Amazon, but.
Oh, I was like, you can rent the space off of Amazon.
Yeah. Also shot in Wales.
Yeah.
You mentioned that, even though it's set in Romania. And some of the exterior shots of like the village when it has those rock faces, I was like, I wonder if this is all set. I don't think it is entirely all sets.
It can't be.
And I think they built the set for the structure for the keep itself in a old mine. So it makes sense if you had like that sheer.
Yeah.
If there had been mining done there. You
got
a lot of sheer rock faces. Anywho, they're just sent to hold this keep.
I don't understand why they're there.
Yeah,
that was
not
the
really
part
clear.
that I don't.
Guess to block passage to Russian troops, I assume.
Your new home. How do you like it?
Not very well, sir.
Why not?
We should be in Russia.
For what?
The final assault on Moscow.
You could transfer. But by the time you got there, Russia would have gone like France, Belgium, Holland, all the rest. We are all done fighting. Now we are the masters of the world. Does that enthrall you, Oster?
Yes, sir.
Good. But we have been assigned to guard this pass, so here is where you'll stay. Tell the men to get out.
Should they come that way? But, you know, they start getting killed off.
Yeah. That's when that happens.
It's Jürgen Prochnow. He's the
leader
CEO
of the pack,
or whatever of this. They're Wehrmacht soldiers. And then because they keep dying, apparently...
Yeah.
They send...
my boy, Gabriel Byrne.
Yeah.
Gabriel Byrne.
Not Gabriel.
Gabriel, fuck! I was like, just as you said it, you bitch. Gabriel Byrne, yeah.
Gabriel Gurn.
Because he is so baby. I love that he was like, I'm not gonna do a fucking German accent for this. I'm gonna sound British, even though I'm Irish.
Is that what's going on? I can't tell. I mean, Gabriel
Byrne
regular
is
accent,
like, where am I from?
Yeah,
you don't
exactly.
fucking know. I'll tell you, but it's not gonna sound right.
Squireland.
Cheshireland.
The Shire.
Yeah.
Did I send you that thing that was like, or maybe you sent it to me?
I sent it to you.
About hobbits?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's like, it said, it was just a silly thing. It's just a silly meme. And it said, hobbits will have daughters and they'll be like, this is like Daffodil, Daisy, and like Chrysalis. And then they're like, these are my sons. Bongwater, Doofus, and Grillbow or something. I don't know. It just
Chungus was one of them.
Chungus, that's right, Chungus.
I love Chungus.
Chungus. Yeah.
Okay, so they're sent there. Part of the whole thing is that
they keep on keeping on.
There's these crosses inside the keep. Mm-hmm. Also the whole thing, but I did love this because it's so heavy-handed. Of like, it was built in reverse. It's like the heavier stones are inside, not on the outside. Maybe it's as if it was built to keep something in rather than.
That doesn't even make sense to me.
Why?
I'm like, well, why would you make them if it was built to keep someone in? Why would it get lighter as you get out? Like the heavier stones are inside. Like, I don't understand. That didn't make sense to me.
Okay.
I just mean like, deducing from that being like, something's meant to be kept in. I'm like, wouldn't you use the same, like, why would you change the heavy of stone to be lighter as he escaped, so that it would get easier and easier? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I'm like, okay, so once he's gotten through the first one, it's just uphill from there. Downhill, it's uphill. What's the right?
There's just not enough rocks. Okay. Anyhow.
Sorry.
Some Nazi soldiers are like, fuck yeah, let's steal these crosses on the wall. 108 of them for no reason. That's never...
Well, this is the thing that was confusing. Yeah, they're like trying to steal it. And he's like, they're nickel. They're not silver, you idiot. And then it starts glowing. And he's like... Silver! And then he's like, this is the only one that's glowing, so it must be silver.
Right. Also, he does some shit where it looks like he like tastes it or something.
Yeah, like what the fuck? And then he's like, this one's silver. And then, what?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that part where it's like, oh, this one is separate, so it's so... Girl, I did love... I know you liked this too. When they were running, like they're doing the slow-mo running to see the silver. They kept calling it a silver cross. That bitch is a T. That bitch is an uppercase
Yeah, and tell me
T.
what you think about this. I wondered if it was meant to mimic the talisman.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Also, I think, okay, so I want to say this and then remind me if I don't say the other thing. They're just there to keep an eye on the keep or keep the keep or something like that.
The Nazis?
Yeah. And then they try to steal silver from the nickel and it lets the monster out a little bit.
Or it gets the hose again.
Yeah. and he just starts exploding them all from the inside.
Yep.
And it's amazing.
In the video I watched, I loved it. He was like, he starts devouring the souls or whatever Nazis have in place of that.
Right? That's why all their eyes are popping out, because he's like, oh,
I guess I'll take
that?
these instead.
And then Gabriel Byrne comes in, and he's like, he starts killing the people in the village.
Villagers, yeah.
Because he's like, it's obviously one of them. And Jurgen Prochnow
He's like,
is
partisans.
yeah, Jurgen is like, hey, doofus, this is literally not what's happening. He's like, something we don't understand is what's happening to these people. And he's like, wow, you're stupid. I did like the part where he's like, where he says like, how many, or he's like, have you
Oh, yeah.
like gone one night without wetting the bed or something like that? He's like, tell me, have you had a dry night or something since you've been here? I don't know. I was like, whoa, girl.
Their shit is good, yeah.
At Poznan, a year and a half ago, SS Einsatzkommando executed men, women, and children. Children, for God's sake. Ruthlessness, courage. How many times in this keep have you wet your bed?
Don't you talk to me about courage.
Yeah, I liked their little
The
back
thing
and
that I liked, but it didn't really hold for me, was the shit between Kuzo and the priest. Kuza and the priest about like, yeah, it doesn't
and
hold
then
me
the
water.
priest goes in and starts eating something. What? And then he's fine later.
Well, that's because it starts leaking out of the keep. The psychic influence of.
Oh, really?
Yeah, somebody says that at some point.
But oh man. But does that mean that the priest was crazy?
Yeah, I think that's. He
And
was
then
being
he's-
influenced by the.
But okay, and then he's fine later?
Doesn't he get killed?
No, he comes and he runs and he gets Kuzo when Gleekin,
It's Kuza.
when Gleeka or whatever,
Oh, boy.
Gleeko,
Kaliko.
Calico comes
It's the celebrity couple of.
gets sucked into the hole.
Yeah, well, because the monster's dead then.
Okay, fine, but you said didn't he get killed? And I said no, he runs out.
Oh, okay.
So I'm answering your question, and you're asking a question that's different. Okay. When Gabriel Byrne, so this is the part where I was like,
Is this a fun listen?
listeners, are you having fun listening? Okay, so Gabriel Byrne, he has the cross and he holds it up, and the monster like does like this, and then he's like, oh, you're afraid of it, and he's like, oh, I got this cross, because he holds up a cross. Is what I don't know if I said that out loud or if I just thought it and thought I said it out loud. And the monster kind of, like ducks away, and then he like comes up and he crumples it. It wasn't until it wasn't until they got the artifact, and I was like, oh, he thought he had the artifact, and that's why he freaked out.
Oh, good.
Because it's similar to that. But then he's like, oh, that's not what you have, you little bitch.
I didn't even think of that.
The only thing I was like, because that's the only way it would make any sense, because it doesn't affect him. Like, he went into the room where the cross was, and he like laid her down, and like, yeah, like other people have had crosses and it didn't do shit. So I'm like, why would he suddenly be affected by this? And then it was like, honestly, the artifact, like, it's insane, but it literally just looks like silver duct tape around a fucking soda can with a flashlight in it. Like, it's so.
I don't know if you saw this, but part of the thing is that Michael Mann had a whole huge battle that was going to involve a lot of special effects at the end planned. And there are, it definitely wraps up, but then it's so anticlimactic. And then the movie just ends. But that's because they cut him off. His budget was, they were like, no. So he's like, fuck. So,
I do like how Scott Glenn grows scales or something, but loses his neck. And then it sucks the monster in, and he's just like, ugh, and then he's like, and it sucks him in, and the way it's so comical. It's like you're supposed to feel sorry for her because she's losing this guy that dicked her down one time.
Yeah.
And it's just funny because he just looks like a rag doll, and it's
It also looks like he's pulling himself into
it's not. It's
Which I was
not.
disappointed because I was missed opportunity. It's one of my favorite things that happens in movies is when someone gets sucked through a tiny hole.
Yeah.
It happens in whichever Elm Street at the end where she gets pulled through the door.
Yeah. Oh God, yes.
90s It, where the bad guy, Jim Jarmusch, gets sucked into the pipe backwards. And then, is it Alien Resurrection? The Joss Whedon one?
God, yes. That's one of my favorites.
So, missed opportunity there.
That's fair. I love that because that one's one of
It's
the most...
always comical to me.
The Alien one is so fucking gruesome and terrifying, but also humorous and
This is what I'm saying.
like it's so horrible because it's like a baby. It's like they make you feel sorry for it because it's like a baby, and then they make it fucking scream like a woman, and you're like, oh my God. Anyway, the Keep is insane.
Yeah, and funny that it's like we watched it this month because somehow I was on, found it referenced as a vampire movie.
Yeah.
And the only thing vampire-like, unless you count the monster, is Scott Glenn not having a reflection and being immortal.
I know, yeah. That's where
Which
I
was
was
a
like...
great surprise. That's not what I was
like,
expecting.
wait, what? Yeah. And he has sort of like...
And it's set in Transylvania, basically.
Right. And I will say, I'm interested in stuff that does like fuck with the lore of vampires. And I think this was like early enough that like it hadn't gone ham past like Dracula shit, you know? They had like Buffy hadn't come out yet, and like they hadn't done Lost Boys, they hadn't tried a teenager.
Right.
So I think it was, for trying to like fuck around with the lore of vampires, I think it's an interesting thing, but I think there's no blood sucking.
In the book, you get more about that character and, his whole connection to the monster. And I guess in the book, he defeats the monster and then is mortal.
Oh.
Doesn't die yet.
There's no way that there wasn't like, I'm like, why are
I think they were going to do that in the movie.
Yeah, because they were going to get her pregnant with him. That's why. I mean, I'm assuming because they always fucking do that. They always fucking do that. If there's a fuck scene in a movie between some guy that's about to die and a girl, she's always like, I'm opening up my eggs for you so you can implant yourself into them. And then she's got a fucking weird baby.
I think you mean Miracle Baby. A Miracle Whip.
A Miracle Nene. That's so stupid.
What?
You said a Miracle Whip, and I said a Miracle Nene.
Oh, okay. No, I get it.
You can. I give you
but I
permission
like
to take that out.
Yeah, you think seemingly the monster just fucks with Kuza because he like puts his whatever in remission and calls him a collaborator.
Yeah,
and he's like, no. So then they think he kind of manipulates Kuza to think, Kuza is like, it's a golem.
Well, I'm going to say this. I was on Kuza's side up until he was like, kill your daughter. I was like, okay. Other than that, I'm like, this dude's just killing Nazis and no one else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just, and like, cause fucking, Gleeker, he said, like, this guy's a bad guy. Trust me, I just dicked your daughter, so you can, everything I'm saying is up and up.
What's happened? is that what was repressed within the keep is spreading into the village.
Who are you? What do you know about it?
This is...
I know that you have bound yourself to him, that you have agreed to carry the talisman out.
It's the sorcerer, Allah.
It is not his. It is what keeps him inside the walls, and if you carry it out, he will be released into the world of men.
What is happening in the world is worse than anything he can do.
He is the same. Look at you.
And I'm like, why do I, other than the fact that you have purple eyes, why do I trust you? And he didn't.
Yeah, he doesn't give.
Yeah, he doesn't say
reason.
anything other than he's like, this monster's bad because it's a fucking monster. Anyway, don't let it kill any more Nazis. And you're like, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with you here.
Yeah.
And then, and I'm like, if that one line wasn't in there of like, kill your daughter. I mean, he doesn't literally say kill your daughter. He's just like, kill her and get my talisman out of here. Then I would be on the side of the fucking monster the whole time.
For real.
So
No cap.
I think they should have done more work to make it, because I feel like with just that, I feel like it's not so totally clear that the monster was manipulating, because I feel like if it's important, I was about to say something, and then I was like, that's going to sound I was going to say, if it's important to the monster, and I'm like, that's the dumbest sentence that I've ever said out loud. Not ever, but today. Like if it's life or death for someone and someone's standing in the way, you wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, I've been trapped in here for like 700 years, but yeah, you go ahead and just say, don't do it, Dad. I'd be like, just fucking, I don't know, kill her. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm like, okay, I kind of get, it, I don't know. I mean, I know it's like, Man's daughter, so we're supposed to give a shit, but they like, it was so confusing. Whatever. I'm just a monster. I don't give a shit about some dumb bee.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously damaged goods because
she got Scott Glenn's dick down.
Scott Glinken.
Glinken. Scott glenned his dick somewhere.
Also,
I can keep going with this.
The person in charge of the special effects team or whatever died 2 weeks into post-production.
Oh.
And he was the only one that had, besides Michael Mann. Or no, not even. He had his own vision for things.
Oh, God.
And it had not been communicated.
Oh, no.
So Michael Mann had to do a bunch of reshoots, which apparently he didn't mind because he wasn't happy with the direction it was going. But anyway, I love all the shit around the creature.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That shit was wild. This is the thing that was very confusing to me. And maybe it's like not the best resolution or something.
Mm-hmm.
Everything looked like a fucking oil painting.
No, well, I love that.
No, I'm just saying that was so confusing to me. I was like, what? I don't understand. I was like, how is it? I don't know if it's just how we were watching it or what, but I've never seen something that doesn't have the best like transfer look like that before. I'm like, I've never because it wasn't like, you know how like things, features get sort of like they're like rougher, they're not as smooth. It was like it was too smooth. I was like, what? It literally looks like someone did a glossy fucking digital painting of Ian McKellen's fucking face right now. It was so wild to me. I was like, I kept being like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It was so weird. It's not a complaint. It was just like, I was like, what the fuck? It made me feel crazy. Which I love, if I'm honest.
I enjoyed, again, this is things that like could have used more breathing room. Well, we already touched on it, but like the faith versus science kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that the priest just loses it. And he was like, I was right. Even though by that point, Kuz is basically acting on faith.
Yeah.
So I like that little thing. And then all the shit between, I love the shit between Prochnow and Gabriel Byrne.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, oh God. I was trying to remember. I feel like there's another dynamic that was.
You like the sex scene.
Well, yeah.
You like that dynamic.
Yeah, you get to see some actual.
Oh yeah,
moosh.
as I said, minge. You get to see your minge in this. I love that term so much.
Does that mean bush though?
I think so. Yeah.
I thought it meant.
It means
all the parts.
No, I think it's the hair. 'Cause I know that because I assume that because fucking Ridley Scott, he did Alien, right?
Mm.
Okay. Because that's the two brothers. I always feel like I get.
Oh, Tony's.
Okay, yeah. So Ridley Scott, fucking apparently, you know that scene, like where Sigourney Weaver has a little tiny panties on
In Alien.
Yeah, she didn't. She wouldn't shave.
Nice.
And he's like, she wouldn't shave and she wouldn't fucking pull those underwear up. He's like, so someone had to go through and airbrush her minge out frame by frame, and it took weeks. He was like,
wow.
That's what I read. I don't know if it's literally what happened. It could be just some like internet rumor or whatever. But I read like a fucking quote from him that said that, which is fucking.
So is he not? He's not English, is he?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think so. But like honestly, I don't. You never know. Like people will be like, oh, this guy's Scottish, and I'm like, that guy with a Southern accent. Like I have no fucking idea.
Bram Stoker, Irish. You wouldn't know it by hearing him.
The brother on True Blood, Australian.
Do you mean the dad on Walking Dead?
No, I mean the brother on True Blood.
Oh, he is English. Never mind.
See, that's what I wasn't sure. I feel like I'm never sure.
I'm thinking of Kubrick because he's such a wanker and lived in England.
Okay. Yeah.
And I remember this was a part of learning about A Clockwork Orange and why it makes no sense that he chose the ending he did.
Mm-hmm.
Because the book doesn't end that way.
Well, I know. Yeah.
And whatever. Who cares?
Okay.
Fuck that guy.
Well, he's dead, so he got his in the end. Would you recommend?
Absolutely, I would.
Yeah, this is a lot. Which is your favorite of our?
This one.
This really okay. I think we know which one my favorite is.
The Addiction.
No, my favorite is Nadia. Yeah. And why? Because of fucking Martin Donovan, of course. Like, I don't give a fucking shit. I don't care if that was the worst movie we watched. That would be my favorite because fucking Martin Donovan's in it. Martin Donovan in a goddamn vampire movie with lesbianism. Fuck yeah. Jesus. Pfft. I'm going to pick that every time. That's going to be my favorite movie next month, too. Let's see if we can find... I really want to do... I like doing this. If you don't like doing it, it's fine. I like doing it because like people like to do like holiday films, and I'm kind of like,
oh yeah.
I like doing dysfunctional Decembers where we do films that are just like fucked up families.
Yeah.
So maybe we can find one with Martin Donovan in it that's about a fucked up family that we haven't already done yet.
You've seen every Martin Donovan movie.
I haven't seen all of them. Some of the ones.
Too bad we did the Quietude.
The Quietude.
What's it called?
The Quiet. That one's from the.
Also, we didn't do it.
No, we did it. We did a dishonorable on
okay.
it because it's from 2009 or some shit.
Okay.
Or 7. Oh, we've only been doing it for 50. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I can do some more trivias, or I'd like to. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Tangerine Dream. Another big reason man. I was excited.
I think the soundtrack. I think all the music in this was insanely good. I will say that sometimes it made it hard to hear the dialogue.
Yes.
But I'd rather hear the music than the dialogue.
Apparently this was Siskel's complaint.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Yeah, he's dead.
I know. That's why I'm laughing.
Oh, you're laughing at...
Yes.
Fucking... Okay,
God, remember the fucking... You were showing me, like... Siskel's the one that died first, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, all the fucking commercials that they would do where he would just sound like he was drunk
Yes.
and then just call Ebert like a fat piece of shit
Yeah.
over and over while he sounded actively stupidly drunk.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you...
Wild.
How is anyone on your side in this?
Yeah,
You're
right.
just like... Ebert would be like, what are you talking about? You'd be like, you ate McDonald's for breakfast. Fucking shut up. I'd be like, what the fuck? Siskel. Jesus.
Woo.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, that definitely changed my perspective on their dynamic.
It was so immediately be like, you look like
Yeah,
you
look
ate
up
fat
some
for
Siskel
breakfast,
Niebuhr
fatty.
outtakes
Yeah, it's insane.
if you've never.
He's just like abusive immediately. As
Yeah.
soon as Ebert's like, I don't know, you did say that right. He's like, oh God, you fucking ugly piece of shit. Did you eat cow shit for breakfast? Is that why you look like this? You know, like, Jesus. I mean, not literally. I'm making it sound slightly worse, but only slightly. Wouldn't he call him like Jewish too or something? I don't remember. He would like say some.
Yeah, that was.
I was like, what the fuck? He would like say some shit. And
Which
I'm
I'm
like,
not even sure. He wasn't,
I
was he?
don't think so. I didn't I was like, what?
Yeah.
It was very immediately confusing. Anyway, go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead
so-
with what you were saying.
Michael Mann's first cut that he submitted was 210 minutes.
Oh yeah, we touched on that a little bit, but that's why it was because it was so fucking long and so much of it got trimmed, and so that's probably why it
Yes.
has so many.
Yes.
But I forgot to say this. I meant to say this. And I also forgot what it was.
Cool. So he showed it. He did, the. No.
It made me feel better watching when I found that out. I was like, that's why things feel like a hard cut
Yes.
in the middle of a sentence.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, that makes so much more sense. Because I was like, did you get a copy that was never released?
What I loved it. There are a few edits where it's cuts back to someone and then immediately back. Nothing happens.
Yes.
It's like one frame almost.
Yeah.
It's not literally
Right,
one frame,
yeah, 'cause
but
you wouldn't
it's
say,
like,
but yeah.
why?
I know, and there are times when it's like so much noise, and it's like two people arguing, and then suddenly it cuts, and it's just one person just staring. And I'm like, wait, did someone wait? What happened? It was so jarring. Some of those cuts, but when like it made sense when I was like, oh, okay, so like, and it said like he wasn't. I thought was it you or I don't know. I thought it said like he wasn't involved in the.
So yes, I was going to get to that.
Thank you.
His first cut was 210 minutes long, which is over 3 hours. They said absolutely not. We'll give you 2 hours at most. They did test screeners of the 2 hour version. It got poor feedback. And then the studio
hilarious
just took
to
it
me.
away from him
Yeah.
and cut it down to an hour and a half.
Like we don't
or
fucking
whatever it
trust
is,
you.
96 minutes.
I don't know why that's so fucking funny to me that like he was like, all right, fine, I'll cut it to 2 hours, and they were like, this is shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that makes sense. That makes so much sense that he like a director wasn't involved in any of the
Yeah.
final editing, and that's why there's some hard cuts in between
Hard turns. Hard
people
cuts.
just suddenly like talking and then suddenly it cuts and then there's like a too long of a pause before someone answers and you're like, was a question asked? Because you both were arguing. Like it's so confused. Oh my God. It was jarring, but that was, I read that before, or I read that after like those cuts started happening and I was like, what the fuck? I honestly was like, did you get it this? Like, did somebody record it from
right.
TV and then cut out the commercials and put it on fucking?
Well, that is another thing. Apparently, there are versions like that because you know how this would happen.
Yeah.
back in the film, the TV days, is that then the studios would just, television stations would do their own edits
Yeah.
to make it fill a slot.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'd be given, the version they were given was different than a theatrical cut. So
Yeah.
it contained things that people did not see in the theaters.
Yeah.
And also was, trailers oftentimes have footage that doesn't make it into
I swear to God, this is such a pet peeve. This I don't feel like this happens anymore as much. But this used to happen, I swear to God, this used to happen a lot in the 90s and early aughts. And it was something, my autistic brain always noticed it. And I'd be like, you fucking piece of shit liars.
You lied to me.
They would be like previously on, and then they would show shit that wasn't actually in the previous episode. And I'd be like, no, it wasn't.
Yes.
This was not previously fucking anywhere because I watched
100%.
that
We've talked about
episode. Oh, God.
Or even when it's like a shot that was in the previous episode, but like some ADR that they've done to synopsize it.
Or a thing where it's like, it was in there, but from a different angle. And
Yes.
you're like,
Or a different scene entirely,
Yeah. Oh, my God.
They take the dialogue from a different scene and put it over.
I'm like, you bitch.
Yeah, but I love it when it's clear that it's entirely different scene has been shot.
Yeah.
For that purpose, probably.
Oh, I don't know. I just assume it was, I don't know. But I'm always like,
yeah.
I was like, did anybody see that? Did anybody see that? That was not, like, nobody cared. Nobody cared. But I was like,
100%.
This is really.
Wake up, sheeple.
Yeah. My morality is being tested. Like, this is morally wrong, right?
it was a moral affront.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think the effects are amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for the time.
Insane.
I love the creature. Everything about it, basically.
Fucking smoke shit. What the? I don't even know what the fuck was going on with that. I don't give a shit. That was
so
fucking.
Good.
That was insane. That was fucking cool for now. Nobody would do that kind of shit now.
No.
Oh my God.
And I love all the shit. Like it's basically the first time when the guy gets sucked into the inner part of the keep, and then it pans forever.
Yeah.
Until all you see is blackness, but then it keeps going, and you see that there's more.
Yeah.
In
And
the
it
foreground,
just
you see more structure.
And then it goes.
Oh yeah, it goes. Phew.
That was so fucking cool. I was like, what the fuck? And then and then the guy's like freaking out, and he's pulling the guy out in slow motion.
Yeah.
And then he gets out, and he's like, and he freaks out because the guy's been cut in half.
Or his head's gone or something.
No,
I couldn't tell exactly.
It's like this, and then all the smoke that was coming out gets sucked back in.
Yeah.
Oh man! And then that guy gets exploded.
There's some. Oh yeah, I made this joke. Like how much of the budget went to smoke because.
Oh yeah, you
after a
did say
certain
that.
point, there's a smoke everywhere.
I know. This is the thing. I think
so good though.
like. I did like the sort of like the back and forth between, like you said this, but I like the back and forth between Prochnow and Burns' characters.
Mm-hmm.
But what I liked about it is because Gabriel Byrne's character was like challenging Prochnow, being like, "Oh, you're so you know,
you're helping out this Jew.
Oh, you're
being
morally
soft on these villagers.
Aren't you morally high? You know." He's like, "You're just doing this so that you feel better about yourself." But Prochnow was like, no shit. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. But I'm like, I was so worried because Prochnow gets killed, and I was like, oh God, I don't want it to be a thing where he gets like resurrected or the monster brings him back. And we're like, oh, I'm so glad this one Nazi survived.
Yeah. It really.
Nope. And I'm like,
felt like it was steering towards
exactly.
Oh, there were some good Nazis.
Yeah. But what I was like, the only reason I would have hated like any of those characters, if any of them had survived, but I'm like, no, I can be like, oh, that was a good story, that was a good whatever, because they died, because they were fucking Nazis, and I don't give a shit about them. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, yeah, apparently there's a series of graphic novels based on the book. made in like 2004 or something. I think I saw.
Interesting.
Oh, this is the one I tried to send you.
Oh.
It's not what I was looking for. One of the last films Julie Powell, author of Julie and Julia, had seen. And the second to last, she tweeted about. The Phantom Carriage was the last. Her tweet reads October 17. I don't know if that means 2017 or what year.
Yeah.
Quote, we just watched The Keep. That shit got weird at the end. Only the thing I'm reading here has SH-T. Close quotes, parentheses, but she used the full curse word.
Yeah, but she died, which is even funnier.
Here's some other great trivia. Timothy Block worked 8 weeks.
Yeah, you told me that.
Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay. Captain Vuurman, which is Procknow's character, is reading the anti-war novel Soldat Suren by German author Georg von der Vring. The book is shown in close-up when Kampfer, which is Gabriel Byrne, is looking through the papers on Vuurman's desk. Soldat Suren was first published in 1927, became a popular bestseller, and is recognized as the first German novel about the war. It is ironic, humorous, and has an anti-war pacifist message. Since Klaus Vuurman is characterized as an anti-fascist and humanist Wehrmacht soldier, the book must have appealed to him for these reasons. But yeah, there's also references to how he talks to Cusa about fighting in Spain during the Spanish Civil War.
Yeah.
And then he brings that up again with Gabriel Byrne's character.
Right, yeah. Well, Gabriel Byrne
But
is
it's like, why are you a fucking in the Nazi? Why are you a Wehrmacht officer? Like,
yeah, I don't know. Was there not like some forced sort of shit?
sure. I mean, but it's also like,
Yeah, I don't know.
if you went to Spain to fight,
He didn't. He said if I had been there, I would have
that's right.
been.
You're right.
And he said, but I wasn't there.
you're right, it was Kuza's son.
Yes, Kuza's son died there, and he's like, oh, he's basically saying like you could have been one of the people that killed my son, and he just says if I had been there, I would have been
on the same side.
We would have been fighting on the same side, but I wasn't.
Right.
So that's all.
Yeah. Okay. You're right. But it's also weird. It's like I don't know.
Right. It's
what to do with this character.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that there is room to talk about the complications of
Yes.
like, because I think shit like that is happening now.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to like.
Y'all aren't prepared to have that conversation.
Well, nobody wants to admit that it is the same thing,
Yeah,
because when you're looking at it from a historical standpoint and you're like, well, obviously here's what the right thing to do is because you're being told.
Correct.
You're being told what the right thing was.
Right.
So you're like, yes, I would
It's
make
very
the right.
safe.
Yes.
Also.
It's safe, but it's also like it's not a question.
Correct.
It's just like, oh, no one, not even a fucking Nazi these days is going to be like, yeah, I would have been on the Nazi. I mean, yes, of course, you have some people that are shitty bags of shit that would say that, but not even, like a lot of people are like, I've jokingly said this. I'm like, how many people have watched Inglourious Bastards and are like, oh yeah, fucking kill Nazis, and they're like, oh, this Black Lives Matter thing is just, I don't know why they need to,
Totally.
It's that same thing of like there's a disconnect between understanding that it wasn't a clear line back then. I mean, it was and it wasn't. Like the way that it was back then was probably even worse than it is now, because back then a lot of racism was like chill and fine. Like it wasn't cool, like it wasn't okay.
Yeah.
But you still had separate drinking fountains and shit like that.
Yeah,
you
right.
know, there's Japanese internment camps that we had here. You know, like people weren't saying like, you know, the problem is that no person should be treated like this. They were like, huh, aren't these also white people?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And that's what made people give a shit
Yeah.
and stand up for them. And
Well-
if you, well, not the only thing,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, that's part of what made it.
That's why so I don't have really any patience for this happened during the Trump years.
Yeah.
When everybody learned the term Antifa and anti-fascist.
Oh my God, I know.
That, the U.S. was anti-fascist during World War II. No. They were anti-Hitler because
Yeah.
it meant they were losing
Yeah.
empire.
Yeah. But also, like,
That's the only reason the U.S. and the USSR teamed up, because they were both threatened.
right.
I mean, also Pearl Harbor,
Yeah.
but
But people will be like, I'm anti-fascist. And then they'll be like, vote blue no matter who. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not
yeah, also Blue Lives Matter.
right.
Vote blue no matter whose life matters. Wait a minute.
You know, like, but that's a, you know, like,
My favorite was the former GM that
oh God.
I looked her up a few years ago and had one of those little things you put around your Facebook photo that was like, sometimes antisocial, always anti-fascist.
Oh my God, come on. Also, people will be like, I'm anti-fascist, and then they'll be like, well, that I'm not gonna decry like racism in the workplace because that might risk my job. And I'm
I mean,
like, then you're
because
not
this is the thing.
anti-fascist. Like, I'm not saying that it's not like that it doesn't suck to be put in that position, but if you're like, I'm gonna keep myself safe,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna keep myself from feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah.
At the very least, like at the most, like the most that I'm gonna experience is discomfort.
Right.
Then you're not, so you don't do shit. You don't stand up for anyone. You don't do anything. You're not fucking anti-fascist. You're not. And you're like, if you're like, I don't like Nazis. Well, you know what helps them get shit done? Not saying a fucking word when they're
Yeah.
doing things.
Right.
It has nothing to. This is a thing that, like, I mean, I know I'm like getting on a pedestal, but I don't fucking care.
A pedal stool.
A pedestal. I fucking like. This is a thing where I'm like, when people have like, people will be like, I'm not racist. I've never said the N-word, and I'm like, that's not what being racist is. You know, it's not like. It doesn't matter. Like, what do you like? Or someone will be like, you know, I used to say the N-word, but like, I know that that's not good to do, so I don't do that anymore. And I'm like, okay, but you understand that doesn't make you a good person just because you don't do that one thing. If you think it, if you other someone.
Well, you have to also understand systemic
Right. That's what I mean.
isms.
But something that, I mean, this is not to toot my own horn, but I'm like, you know what? One of the reasons why I am very cautious and I try to be really careful with language, and I don't like, I don't say the N-word. I know, pat me on the back. But the reason why is because in my mind, it's not any different to cause bodily or physical harm to someone or use racist language.
Yeah.
Those are exactly the same thing. Because I think if you quantify them by which one's worse, I think you will be able to let yourself do things. So to me, it's like staying silent, not standing up for, not being like not decrying, not being outspoken causes violence just as much as enacting that violence.
Well, that's one of the things.
And I don't separate those things because if I do, then I will let myself not do something. And as unfortunate, like we've talked about this. It's like if I'm uncomfortable,
yeah,
I'm already fucking uncomfortable. I already have anxiety. I'm already
right.
in a state of panic all the time. Stating a fact, doing something that might make me feel uncomfortable, but will be something that saves someone or something that helps another person, big fucking deal. Like, I'm already in that state most of the time.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Like, I'm not ever going to feel relief. I don't know. It's just like, and I know that like here's the thing that I struggle with. And this is the thing I don't fully know what to do with, is that like, I really don't like calling myself white.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm like, oh, I don't want to acknowledge the privilege that I have. It's really not about that, because I will say that I have white privilege. I will say that I have like, cis privilege and things like that. Doesn't make me that.
Positionality.
Yeah, but that's my positionality. But I don't like saying that I'm white, because I think that, one, whiteness doesn't exist. So, I mean, which means it's, that's what makes it sort of complicated, is that like, I don't want to say that I'm white, because I think it's like, I know what I am.
Right.
And I'm not white. So I don't want to be like, yes, I'm white, because I can say like, oh, I'm Shawnee. Like I'm,
right.
But I also know that the point of saying I'm white, it's to say like, yes, I am part of this. Like I do benefit from this system. So but the reason why I don't want to say it is not because I'm like, I don't want to acknowledge this privilege. I don't want people to know that I have privilege. You look at me, you can tell. I can pass, I don't try to, but I can pass for white. I mean, I will say people are usually like, you're something, aren't you? And I'm like, well, thank you for saying that.
Well, as you like to point out, it's usually
people like
POC that.
Well, yeah, people are like, well, no. White people will be like, are you Asian?
Really?
Are you Asian? And I'm like, well, no, but some would say yes. Like, I don't want anyone, like, okay. The things that I understand, the path that I've gone on through life, and what has brought me to my core beliefs is the part of me that is not white.
Yeah, right.
If I had been born white, if I had not been introduced to people who were also not white, if I didn't have family who wasn't white, if I didn't understand the complications of not being white, because I didn't grow up in a family that had any people of color in it, I wouldn't have the understanding that I have. And I don't want someone, and this is you might be like, wow, that's really, I don't want someone to be like, that white person understands, because I don't want white people to get credit for the things that me being indigenous has informed me.
Right.
So that's why I don't like saying that I'm white, because I don't want someone to be like, oh, I guess I can let my guard down around some white people. No, I'm not white.
Yeah.
I'm not white. So don't do that. Like, don't, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that I'm so good that people will feel that way, because usually when people of color, when I'm like, yeah, I'm not white, they're like, yes, okay. Now it makes sense. Like, okay. Like, and but like, I don't want there to be any sort of like, oh, you're really well informed for being, you're a white person that's really well informed. And it's like, well, no. I pass for white. I can be confused for white.
I pass for a well-informed white.
Exactly. So, I can get like sort of, like I'm not white. Like, don't call me white. I'm not a white person. But I'm worried that people think that I'm trying to say I don't have privilege. I don't experience privilege, and that's not how I mean it. And yes, there are a multitude of ways I don't experience privilege, but I also understand that there are a multitude of ways that I do.
Right.
And
also, this is where it's never static. I think this doesn't get emphasized enough.
Absolutely.
All these dynamics happen moment to moment.
Yes, correct.
Individual to individual. Like, so.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, right. And also, it's like, there are times when I'm like within the same day that depending, I mean, I know this is basically what you're saying, but like moving throughout the day, there are moments where I'm more privileged and less privileged throughout the same day, depending on where I go, who I'm around. And like me
because of my age, Around this time of day, it's starting to get dark. I'm sundowning and becoming more white.
It's true. No, I will say
I will say that, and then a series of bleeps. And these fucking over here.
The cold still night means nothing to you, 'cause your money is low. And you know what you have to do. You gotta keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping hey, home another night. The game is survival and there ain't no wrong or right. Gotta keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. Until your day's done. Sometimes you look in the mirror and say, I wish I was never born.
Yeah.